Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
This podcast is not safe for work. I repeat, this podcast is not safe for the work. For the love of God, this podcast is not safe for work.
Wee woo!
I'm Jazz Clark, professional penicorn.
And I'm Ezra, a boat.
Wait, Tyler, your name's not Ezra.
Yes, my name is Ezra.
Wait. Okay, it seems like Tyler isn't here today.
I'm just a fill-in.
No, this is our guest star, Ezra. And he's going to be filling in while Tyler's off doing whatever he's doing right now.
He does very important things, like
Yes.
pilots Goombas.
Yeah. Don't worry, your favorite reading disabled person will be back soon. But in the meantime, we're going to do something a little different today. Normally we take a giant D20, I'm grasping it in my hand right now, and we roll it. And
He
then
really is.
And then we pick a fanfic. I'm going to do something a little different. A couple months ago, gay marriage became legal in the entire United States.
It was a big deal.
And that's where we are. We're not in Amsterdam or something, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we're in the United States.
So we're going to read a fun story that I found by a man named Max Wood called Pounded by the Biker Rainbow Come to Life.
I'm looking forward to this.
It's a first time gay paranormal MM taboo. MM being male, I believe. From our fan fiction excursions, we should know. Yeah, so that's basically it. We're just going to read this short novel. I think it's about 30 pages. And it's going to be magical and fun. Are you ready, Ezra?
Oh God, yes.
Awkward. And we're back.
Indeed.
I know you want to know about Max Wood, the author of this. I know he did a story called Gangbanged on the Planet of Gay Space Raptors.
But his page doesn't reflect that,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I know he did one called Cheesy Puff Came to Life and Pimp My Gay Ass.
That's what I really thought we were going to be reading.
If I was rich, I would buy that $4 novel.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah.
$4 is a lot of money.
I paid $2 for this one.
Oh, that's much better.
All right, read the bio.
My name is Max Wood, and while I was an unsuccessful pirate in a previous life, I currently write paranormal and offbeat erotic fiction, partly because I find it enjoyable, but mostly to cover my rampant Tim Hortons habit. In my free time, I enjoy quilting. I did the same thing you did.
God damn
Quilting profanity into existing pieces of fabric, as well as collecting Wizard of Oz memorabilia. I'm as reading disabled as Tyler.
Congratulations.
I am genius.
All right, Pounded by the Biker Rainbow Come to Life. Of course, on the cover there is a rainbow wearing sunglasses, riding a bike, and a man's well-defined upper torso.
Yeah, I'd put it that way.
Okay. It's by Max Wood. Copyright 2015.
I like that line there. The always practice safe, responsible, and consensual sex. I think those are words to live by.
It is, because there's about to be some probably non-consensual sex in this.
Oh, God. I didn't sign up for that.
They panted beneath the searing afternoon sunlight. Rico and Saul ascended the mountain with greedy and impatient fingers, as if weasels furiously rummaging through back-alley trash cans.
I think that might be a euphemism or something.
There's not going to be any euphemisms in this.
I don't know.
Everything is straightforward. Their yellowed and unclipped hippie nails lodged into the hard gray sediment of the jolty rock wall as they made their way up to the summit of Indian's Claw.
Dude, I'm fading fast. Oh, darn it.
Rico huffed.
A small drizzle of dirty sweat drifted from his unkempt, wiry brow and slid down toward his emerald green eyes. He was left up in the sun with near blindness as he clutched his harness and somehow found the will to continue.
Come on, dude, I swear the view is groovy just over this ledge.
Saul shouts, down to his straggling best friend. I can't do it, man!
He heard Rico's call echoing off the drab rock wall. Saul looked down to see his friend dangling from the rope, like a limp tie-dyed flag in the sunlight. I like your bandana, Ezra. Saul's eyes widened as he saw his best friend's hand grasping for the rocks in futility, the stone sliding out of his balmy grip.
Rico!
Saul cried, as he watched in horror at his hippie friend sliding from the harness. The hairy rock climber lowered himself. That's a good use of adjective.
That is, actually, yeah, I like that.
Lowered himself closer to his friend as the rope zipped in descent.
Take my hand, Rico!
Saul screamed as his pulse surged with adrenaline. He couldn't live with himself as his best friend and drum circle buddy slipped and fell the fatal distance into the canyon.
I mean, drum circle buddies are totally like...
It's important.
Saul, I can't!
Rico's tan face scrunched, and as Saul saw the cardboard brown eyes of his... Cardboard? Oh, okay, they're not actual cardboard.
Yeah, they
They're the
look
color
like
of cardboard.
That's an interesting use of descriptors there.
Yeah. The cardboard brown eyes of his friend darting to and fro in a panic, he grabbed onto the back of the miserable climber.
The two panted wildly as Saul looked up, seeking a reminder of the distance that was left between the two hippie climbers and the peak of the Indian's Claw summit. Saul knew it would be close.
Saul, no, you can't!
Rico screamed as Saul started to pull his apathetic and...
Turning the page.
...winded friend farther up.
Just give me one good reason why the hell I can't, bro.
Saul laughed proudly as he continued pulling his friend up along the rock siding, though his relief was tinged with a sense of dread as he saw the unchanging look of fear in Rico's cold gaze.
My rope can't hold both of us.
Rico started as the utter defeat formed in Rico's eyes, but Saul continued in defiance.
We're doing it right now, dude!
Saul laughed as Rico's finger pointed up, and in a cold-blooded sentence that forever haunted Saul's dreams, his hippie climber friend delivered the final blow.
My rope is made in. It's made in China!
Rico cried just as Saul turned his gaze upward and saw the rope untwining at an alarming rate.
Huh, that's not very nice to the Chinese.
Yeah, it's also not, like, this is not as much sex as I thought.
Oh, don't worry. We're only on page 3.
I really thought like it would start a lot harder and faster and
Oh, it's gonna get hard and fast.
more intensely.
But this guy has to die.
Oh, that's not cool.
Shit, I can't do this without you, Rico.
Saul cried back, but Rico grew silent as a single hippie tear pooled in the cradle of his eyelid.
You've always been my favorite Blaze buddy. I'll never forget the crunch times we had getting baked behind the preschool.
Rico said as Saul continued shaking his head in denial. The stronger hippie's long brown locks danced from side to side.
No, man. No way I'm letting you go, and pot is just now getting legalized throughout the country.
Saul laughed, but Rico's lip quivered.
I think these guys like the Mary Jane.
I think they might be a little bit into the chronic.
Let me go, Saul. We can't make it together. You have to go alone.
And just then, the brown-skinned hippie pulled a small pocket knife from his pocket and snapped the last bit of synthetic fabric from the breaking rope.
The hippie slipped from Saul's sweaty grip, and the thick-bearded hippie watched as his best friend tumbled down into oblivion, disappearing for good once he dropped inside a thick canopy.
Rico!
Saul cried and dangled from his more superior American-made rope as he lamented the end of a 20-year friendship. Saul woke up in a sweat. He'd had these flashbacks for years now, and the sound of Rico's voice was still crisp in his dreams.
Though the midnight intrusions... Oh, God. Though the midnight intrusions had eased in their pain, the memory of Rico being a wave that crashed periodically against Saul's psyche was still hard to handle. The hippie panted and pulled back the tie-dyed sheets from his bed before climbing out into the dark bedroom and walking over to a window in the corner of his studio apartment.
Rico,
Saul whispered as he watched up into the stars and was nearly blinded by the brimming moonlight, which had washed his face and unkempt bushy brown beard in a pale luminescence.
I mean, wash is a poor choice of words. Probably doesn't get a lot of washing on his face.
I mean, light can wash a lot of things.
Yeah. You damn fool!
Saul pressed his fingers to the glass of the window and softly spoke as his lip quivered. A small hippie tear formed and dropped down his unwashed cheek. At least they established that.
Yes.
With the beard, so that way it's
unkempt
not like he's
and
washing
unwashed.
beard.
Saul walked across the open space and fumbled in the dark for his bong. Why couldn't he turn on the lights?
Well, sometimes when you gotta fumble, you gotta fumble.
Gotta fumble.
Gotta fumble.
Indulging in a few big hits as he fell back onto the drab olive green love seat his neighbors had tossed out over Christmas.
And that's where I get all my love seats.
The hippie inhaled a large hit for his deceased best friend, and after spacing out for a solid 30 minutes, he had a revelation. Saul suddenly knew what he had to do. He'd never made it to the top of Indian's Claw, and he felt as though Rico's memory would always haunt him until he made the climb.
It's gonna be a heroic return.
Yes.
Oh.
Nothing is more heroic than his dude bro. But he'd be lying if the fear didn't leave a tense knot in his stomach, which was luckily eased by gourmet pot brownie. In the constant haze of pot smoke and New Age videos, the next 3 days had slipped by the 25-year-old hippie.
That happens.
And soon enough, the San Francisco sunlight was creeping in through Saul's window as he was greeted with the beautiful Saturday morning.
Saul didn't want to make the journey. He easily admitted to himself that he was afraid. What with all of the climbing ropes now being made in China.
Dun dun dun.
But he had no excuses given that he had no job and he'd been out of food for about a week. And he'd have to leave the sanctuary of his skunky studio apartment and brace his fate.
He decided for a quick confidence smoke,
Shouldn't
though.
it be embrace his fate?
Embrace his fate. It's a pun about rock climbing, I think.
Oh, because you brace and...
Brace against the wall, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little too deep for you.
That was a little too deep for me.
He decided for a quick confidence smoke, though, because nothing makes me more confident than smoking weed.
True story, bro.
I mean, I don't... Anyway. And 3 days later, Saul emerged with squinting eyes and a thick, pale brown beard.
Wow, that's a long smoke.
Yeah.
Saul, what's happening, man?
Saul rubbed his baked red eyes as he saw the image of his neighbor standing before him.
Oh, hey, eucalyptus.
That's not a name.
It's a plant.
He returned as the 20-something woman shook her head and her bright pink hair bobbed side to side.
Saul, it's no longer eucalyptus. We've been over this, silly. It's Minerva now. At least that's a name.
It's name-like.
That is a name-like.
It is a name. She said as she readjusted her nose ring, and Saul was nearly blinded as it sparkled in the sunlight.
Huh. We have...
Saul asked as he shook the chipped crumbs from his beard in an impromptu effort to impress his neighbor. She was clearly not impressed by his skinny jeans and flannel shirt, though.
I thought this was a homoerotic focus story.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay. Only about 3 times.
I already forget what she's talking about.
Her name.
Oh, her name.
Yeah.
She rolled her eyes as Saul shrugged.
Please tell me those pants are fair trade. I would just die if they aren't fair trade. Can't, keep a straight face on it.
Minerva added.
What?
Saul scratched his wiry, unkempt beard hair.
Beard
brown
hair.
Brown hair. So the hair on his head.
Right.
As he pulled the long locks from his face.
There's this shaman I think you should see, Saul. He's a barista during the day in Castro. And...
Castro is a person, not a place. Minerva started.
She did add that in there.
Yes,
yeah,
she did.
It was intense. Thanks, but I've got something to do today.
Saul added as he closed his door and quickly headed down the steps. As Saul headed for his favorite kombucha bar, he grew increasingly paranoid that Minerva had known he was utterly baked.
I never tried kombucha. I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe it's something we should
yeah, let's go
do.
get some kombucha.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on track. He felt the fear slide away, though, as he spotted the Embrasian's kombucha bar.
It's a good name for a kombucha bar.
It is.
Can I get my regular sandalwood?
Saul rubbed his eyes once more as the girl behind a large wooden counter smiled.
You don't look well, Saul.
Sandalwood studied Saul's dirty skin and his glazed eyes as he darted them around the lazy and vacant little cafe.
I did not think sandalwood was a name once again.
Yeah.
We're running into some troubles here.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer, man, because I'm headed into Indian's Claw today.
Saul said, and as the words left his mouth, he wondered why he even volunteered such information. He knew that it only turned to conversation of one thing.
Saul, I'm so sorry.
Get your hand off my leg. Sandalwood said. She told him to get his hand off her leg. It was really awkward. And as Saul rested his hands on the wooden counter, he suddenly felt her soft skin caressing them. Oh.
Oh.
Well, that went in a
Ooh.
interesting way.
Can I get that organic gluten-free dirt ragweed kombucha to go, please?
At least he's polite.
He is polite.
He abruptly chimed in as a look of embarrassed defeat came across Sandalwood's face.
Embarrassed feet?
Embarrassed defeat.
Oh, I thought you said embarrassed feet.
Nope, I said embarrassed defeat.
I can't hear things.
The young woman turned and fiddled with a collection of glass bowls and clumps of grass before turning around with a small, repurposed cardboard cup.
That one's on the house today.
She smiled as Saul nodded and hobbled back out into the sunny, slanted sidewalks. The solemn...
There's a lot of, like...
Too many S's.
There's a lot of alliteration there.
Sorry, listeners, about all these S
Alliteration.
noises. The solemn hippie contemplated many things on the bus ride to Indian's Claw, clenching his hiking bag as the clanging of his bongs rang throughout the bus. How many goddamn bongs does this asshole
You don't need
need?
that many.
Shit, dude. He was glad to be off the blue bus, and at the foot of the path he'd ventured so long before, as he'd grown increasingly paranoid that he'd reeked of pot.
Hey, you drop this.
A man came up behind the hippie with a large penis-shaped bong clutch in his hand. A look of embarrassment came across Saul's face as his eyes shifted quickly, and he hoped the man would notice his Bong Fest complimentary t-shirt.
That's a lot of bongs.
He's very good at hiding his highness,
Obviously. No, I didn't.
he replied as the man rolled his eyes and sighed.
So this isn't yours.
The man asked sincerely, and as much as Saul had wanted to decline the embarrassing item, he couldn't deny that the penis bong had been Rico's favorite.
It's mine.
Saul finally admitted as the man grew a slight scowl and planted the veined glass pipe in his hand. As Saul grabbed Rico's penis...
Bong.
Oh, sorry. As Saul grabbed Rico's penis bong, a feeling of longing slipped up his spine, and throughout his cargo shorts he felt a whirring of affection for his long-lost hippie friend. The two had never been lovers, but in the hazy evenings of a San Francisco spring... Of course they're in San Fran.
Where else would they be?
He and Rico had made tender hippie love once or twice.
But how have they not been lovers?
It doesn't count if it's only once or twice.
I don't think that's true.
Billows of smoke intoxicated their lust as they fondled each other's stringy muscles, and they exhaustively maneuverer atop his psychedelic rug. Maneuverer.
Fist pound explosion. It's not gay or straight or anything, man. It's love.
He'd remembered telling a somewhat recalcitrant Rico.
You're right.
Rico had finally smiled as they are smokers' hearts pounded limply, and they made passionate man love under the arousing delight of fine West Coast kush.
Little issue with the comma there and the
Yeah,
and the
so it's
RE.
they apostrophe R-E,
Yeah.
smoker apostrophe S.
Yeah, so it's like they're the smoking owns the hearts, and it's they are.
They are smoking own hearts. The memory of those nights had faded much like the smoke that shrouded them, merely hours afterward.
Rico and Saul hadn't ever talked about their experiments, but Saul could sense the unspoken admiration and respect they'd held for each other.
That's beautiful, man.
It is. And now, as his sandals crushed the pebble path leading into the large mountainous part, Saul found himself fueled by Rico's legacy. Rico had been a hesitant follower, but even he blossomed into an independent-minded counterculture enthusiast before his tragic fall.
Crunchy.
Saul whispered to himself as he felt the rocks beneath his shoes, leading him to the rock wall where it had all gone wrong. The scenery looked identical, and a small tear came to Saul's eyes.
Rico, man.
He whispered softly, caressing the stone wall before growing immediately into an expression of determination.
Saul was ready. He'd been drifting in his life for so long, ever since Rico's death. But even before that, the inevitable realization that psychedelic ska music would never be a viable career option left him hanging up his tambourine for good and questioning his entire life.
I'd listen to psychedelic ska music.
I think we need to start a band right now.
Obviously.
I'm guessing.
What's like a good bass rhythm for ska?
But it has to be psychedelic.
Yeah, it's got to be a little. So you got to like Yeah.
All right. Cool.
He'd been floating atop waves of apathy and clouds of toke smoke ever since. Rico was the one who pushed him to get back up again and reunite with his love of rock climbing.
Really like toke smoke.
Toke smoke. It's got a good mouthfeel.
Yeah, it does. Well, I finally got you out here, man. ... Here.
Saul had said once as they sat together at the end of a climbing day, and he passed a fat blunt to his buddy. Rico's head cocked back and his eyes fell closed as he smiled and enjoyed the spacey ride.
Out here, man? Out here it's just out. You know what I'm saying?
Rico said. Rico said as they both burst into a nearly endless laughter. but good memories were tainted by the fact that Saul had felt responsible for Rico's death in this way. If he hadn't dragged his buddy to Indian's Claw that day, the Hispanic hippie that had been at his side for so long would still be with him. I didn't know that was a late to establish kind of thing there.
Oh, he's Hispanic hippie.
Yeah,
Or are they just enjoying the alliteration so much they made him Hispanic?
I think so. Well, his name's Rico, so I mean that is kind of a Hispanic name.
I suppose.
Which I guess if we were more familiar with San Fran, we would know that.
Yeah, but we don't know anything about cultures.
No.
We're swine.
I know, it's terrible. I'm a boat.
You are a boat. And speaking of boats, the hippie balled his fists and unzipped his bag, collecting his climbing materials and setting up for the biggest climb of his life. If he failed, all hope was lost, and he tumbled just as Rico had. You know you need a buddy for this, right? You never climb alone?
Yeah, that is like a thing.
Yeah.
That's like a thing. Yeah.
But if he succeeded, he'd finally get baked atop Indian's Claw and take a big hit for Rico, too, as he would feel like a phoenix rising from the roach joint ashes and flying into the blazing sun.
Sure.
Do you want to dispute that?
No, but it's just like it's a weird statement. Like, maybe it should more felt like a cockroach rising from the roach joint ashes to have a bit more fun
Phoenix
with that.
from a roach, yes. Saul took his first chunk of rock and heaved himself up as he exhaled and braved his destiny. He could feel the sunlight as it started on one side of his back and crawled to the opposite as the day crept along from noon to late afternoon, and he ascended slowly. Saul
Of course
panted.
he's going slowly. He doesn't have a buddy.
Yeah. He panted as he looked down and recalled the image of Rico as his lanky brown arms flailed like pretzels come to life.
That was like a really serious sentence that just like completely fell apart.
I'm going to try to repeat that sentence without laughing. Saul panted as he looked down and recalled the image of Rico as his lanky brown arms flailed like pretzels come to life.
That's very descriptive.
Whew! The matured hippie would have previously felt a tremble of defeat, but today he felt a regained determination, and he lowered his brow in concentration.
What?
Gross.
Ew.
Grabbing himself up further. I hope that was brow.
Ugh.
Saul even endured through a growing thunderstorm that left gusts of wind harshly swaying his frail, unwashed body against the rock-like fishing bait.
In the cruel ocean of Mother Nature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, swaying his frail, unwashed body against the rock
Right.
like fishing bait in the cruel ocean of Mother Nature.
So, yeah.
It's one of those sentences that kind of falls apart unless you finish it up.
Yeah. Or unless you have a climbing buddy when this wouldn't be that big of a deal. Seriously.
What a jerk.
God. He pressed on through, even as the rain fell, and even brushed sideways across him, providing him the first shower he had had in months, and leaving his body cleaned, if not baptized, in the renewal of bravery. But then a lump built in Saul's throat as the rain started to die down, and the sunlight returned. Does that happen when you're climbing? Just like really quick weather changes? Just
I mean, we here know a lot about really weird, very quick weather changes, so yes, why not?
Oh, sure. But then, okay, so yeah, the hippie looked up to see his rope above him slowly undoing itself, wiry strings oh no, excuse me,
Ooh.
around with each snapped piece of synthetic fiber, and Saul swallowed hard and accepting. He was terrified and shaking, and every piece of watered-down Hindu New Age rambling that he'd ever heard fled his mind and left him blank and frantic.
No!
Saul cried out as the rope finally snapped, and he started to plummet. Always go with your climbing buddy.
Yeah, seriously.
The hippie was in utter confusion as his descend...
I think they mean descent.
As his descend came to an immediate halt. And he plopped atop what felt like a warm cloud.
What?
Saul cried out in disbelief and started looking around frantically as he started ascending in mid-air.
To be fair, that what was both me and Saul.
Okay.
Because I was also confused.
If this hadn't been strange enough to the worn hippie, everything around him was bathed in colorful light, and Saul watched as the canopies below him were shrouded in red and purple tint.
I think that Max Wood might be Canadian because they put a U in colorful.
Oh, you're right.
Though I didn't think Canadians knew this much about wonderful romance between men.
I mean, they like bacon.
That's Yes, just this read.
The hippie was frantic and still pumped with adrenaline when he was placed at the cliff of Indian's Claw, the summit he tried so hard to reach but failed. It was only then that the tattered, dirty, and drenched hippie rubbed his eyes and opened them to see a large rainbow next to him.
Hello.
The rainbow greeted him in a smooth, deep voice before patting Saul's wet hair with a warm, humid, airy limb that extended out of the caressed hippie. Whoa! What the?
Saul breathed out and rubbed his eyes once more in an effort to readjust his faulty sight.
Oh man, I'm tripping balls right now.
Saul panted as he grasped the hard slate surface of the cliff.
Here.
The rainbow then softly whispered as it raised a small duffel bag to the top of the cliff and then dove its hands back down. The rainbow air grazed over the edge once more with the penis-shaped bong in its cloudy green grasp.
You drop this.
Man, you really can't hold on to that penis bong.
That happens.
It chuckled as the penis bong seemingly levitated toward Saul atop the green, transparent limb.
I don't understand, bro. I haven't toked in hours. Doesn't make sense.
Saul continued frantically trying to piece together what he was witnessing and stood up as he began to pace.
Don't you want this?
The rainbow asked him as it brought the penis bong closer to him.
You can't talk, man. Rainbows don't talk.
Saul pointed out thoughtfully as he massaged his cheeks in a fit of stress.
I do,
the rainbow said before sparkling in the sunlight like a million beads of jelly bouncing the gleam of summer off their orbs.
My name is Kurt,
the rainbow added as Saul laughed and shook his head.
I'm dead, aren't I?
The hippie asked as he poked around a cave opening.
Where's Rico? Is this the afterlife?
Saul continued, talking to him before the rainbow quickly slapped his ass with its fulminary palm.
This is reality, Saul. You're not dead or tripping. I'm a rainbow. Come to life.
The formation finally admitted as Saul sat atop a small rock.
I died here at this cliff. Wait, is that the rainbow? Okay. I died here at this cliff 3 years ago, and the next thing I know, I was a rainbow. I could say that I'm just as confused by it as you, but I've learned to adjust.
The rainbow said. Saul's eyes squinted like an old prying woman through her blinds as teenagers walk down the street of her neighborhood.
Or like I do regularly.
Yeah, especially when there's people freaking T-boning each other in the street.
Yep.
Cars T-boning, not...
I mean, you know, whatever.
Well,
either way, I'm watching it.
In this story. But then his expression turned to surrender as he looked up.
Rico?
Saul whispered as the rainbow shrugged as it looked longingly into Saul's pale green eyes, stricken by how it had been enamored suddenly with this hippie stranger.
Is that you, Rico?
Saul added.
My name is Kurt.
The rainbow reaffirmed as Saul's head slumped.
Who is Rico?
It asked as Saul lowered his hands.
No one. Anyway, thanks for saving me, man.
The hippie said.
I just wish you had been here when Rico died, man.
Saul added as the rainbow shrugged once more.
Want a hit, man?
Saul asked as he pulled the penis bong to mouth.
After you.
Kurt insisted, as the rainbow watched the ragged hippie taking a generous hit from the glossy pink penis. He felt something he'd never before experienced. Kurt was sensing a rainbow rooster growing hard and quick as it pressed down against the rock wall and out of sight from the unassuming hippie.
He's just like psychic boner sensing? Is that what's going on here?
I don't... no, the hippie is unassuming, so he doesn't know about the psychic boner.
Oh, okay.
But the rainbow has a rooster.
Oh, yeah, but was the rainbow feeling it or was Saul feeling it? Go back a second. Okay, Kurt. Okay.
Yeah, Kurt is the rainbow.
I don't know. Sometimes I forget
yeah.
who people are.
Yeah, just remember the rainbow is Kurt.
Right.
And the hippie is Saul.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Here,
Saul said as he passed the bong to the rainbow and it took a massive hit. Saul was nearly sucked from the side of the cliff as the bushes rustled and even the clouds were drawn in toward the rainbow's legendary toque.
Oh man, it's been a long fucking time.
Kurt admitted as he began to cough relentlessly, and Saul was thrown from his rocky perch and tumbled backwards at the gusts.
Sorry, I just...
The rainbow started as its stripes swelled and contracted with each large ejection of hot air.
That would be a good place for the word.
Ejection.
Shit!
Kurt laughed as Saul regained his composure and chuckled along with the stoned Rainbow.
Dude, that it was fucking crazy.
Saul laughed in admiration.
How did you do that?
He asked as the Rainbow lowered the bong into the cliff and wrestled the hippie's
He's
hand.
a fucking... Yeah, I'm a fucking rainbow, dumbass.
Yeah. It joked as Kurt joined in its laughter.
Damn, I've got to admit.
Kurt started as Saul's eyes widened.
Kurt, damn it.
Oh, yeah. It was...
I had the wrong voice. It's...
Damn, I've got to admit, Kurt started as Saul's eyes widened in curiosity.
It's nothing.
The Rainbow's pink, transparent hand limply fell in dismissal.
Sir Floppin' Wrist. No. What is it?
Saul asked as he neared the edge of the cliff.
It's an edge of a cliff, Saul. Don't fall off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, be careful, man.
Yeah. It's just this thing is making me horny as hell.
The Rainbow said as Saul laughed and inhaled the smooth, skunky scent that clouded around the cliff.
Yeah, man, I didn't want to say anything, but I hear you.
Saul laughed before growing still and trying to process what he'd just been told.
Wait a second. You're a rainbow. How can you be horny, man?
Saul asked.
I can talk, can't I? How can I do anything human-like? How can I ride my motorcycle? Who the hell knows how the universe works? Not me.
Kurt laughed as Saul grew very interested now.
A motorcycle? Yeah, me and a few other rainbows come to life have a motorcycle gang. We stay true to the game.
Kurt explained as Saul scratched his head and tried to imagine the phenomenon.
There are others like you? You all ride motorcycles?
Saul laughed, but Kurt was not laughing.
It's not a joke, Saul. We take it seriously. This is our turf, and we've been cleaning shit up around Indian's Claw for some time now.
Kurt explained as the hippie's expression grew apologetic.
Wow, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it.
Saul admitted as he grabbed the penis bong and turned around, bending over to plant the pipe back into his bag.
In his bag.
Kurt couldn't help but notice the hippie's lean ass in his wet cargo Why are his cargo shorts wet?
Remember he was pounded by the rain and then the sun came out and that's when he fell and was saved? So he would still be wet.
I guess.
When they got to the top of the mountain. I mean,
Yes.
I think that was established that he was
thought it would be
wet
dry.
and dirty on top of the mountain.
Anyway, he has wet cargo shorts.
Apparently. You know, if you take off those shorts, they could dry in the sun for a little bit.
The Rainbow deviously suggested that his new hippie friend grew nervous.
I don't know.
Saul recoiled as suddenly he felt the shorts swept from his legs in an instant and blowing against the cave entrance. Kurt had swiped them anyway.
But how? He was standing.
Yes, and they blew off of him, and then he jumped in the air, and then they blew off of him.
Okay.
And into a cave.
Obviously.
Saul covered his exposed manhood as the Rainbow laughed.
I know this is weird, but, you are really doing something for me.
Kurt creepily admitted as the giant rainbow shimmered in the sunlight.
What do you mean, man?
Saul asked naively.
You know, you're making my stripes hard if you get my drift.
I'm not sure I'm getting his drift, because that doesn't make any sense.
He's a rainbow, he doesn't have genitals.
Supposedly. What are you, some kind of scientist?
Well, no, but I
rainbow general scientist?
I'm pretty sure that rainbows don't have genitals, I mean...
Anyway, Kurt was just explaining that.
Yeah. Wait, did he?
Kurt explained.
Oh. Wait, I've lost it.
Here, I'll just read it again. You know, you're making my stripes hard if you get my drift, Kurt explained.
Oh, yeah. Must just be that big hit I took, but damn.
Damn, the Rainbow finished as suddenly a purple transparent stripe broke from the rainbow mass and descended towards Saul's hairy, pale, hippie leg.
Whoa, man!
Saul said as he felt the warm, airy sensation crawling up his smooth thigh, and he felt the hippie humper beneath his cupped hands growing into a hardened rain stick.
Yeah.
Kurt hissed as Saul felt the humid, warm air along his body. Ugh. Go ahead.
Okay. The hippie couldn't help but feel that the rainbow had something to do with Rico. Kurt didn't seem to know anything about Rico, but perhaps this was simply how the afterlife worked. I like how we have this strange moment of exposition after the cupping, which is starting to occur.
Yeah, seriously, tell us a little earlier.
Yeah. Saul wondered if it wasn't still Rico's spirit embedded in the rainbow, and as the soft, warm, airy arm lingered up his thigh, he swore he felt his dead hippie's touch more than ever.
Rico.
Saul breathed as his hippie eyes went shut.
Okay, you added a hippie.
Whatever. I did, didn't I? Where did I even pull that hippie from?
I'm not sure, but the word hippie is repeated so often.
It really is.
That it doesn't even sound like a word anymore.
No. Saul remembered the many nights spent toking as their favorite vinyl spun, emitting smooth analog psychedelic grooves, though the studio apartment's hazy atmosphere. And as Kurt's soothing rainbow fingers danced carefully up toward the crux of Saul's thigh, inching ever closer to his lightly haired love limo, the hippie exhaled in delight. But he was overcome with guilt, and quickly grabbed Kurt's rainbow wrists and pulled it away.
Look, I believe in free love and everything, man, but I just can't.
Saul said, defying even the hardening hippie head between his legs.
It's fine, I only saved your life, and...
Kurt started as Saul quickly interjected.
Yeah, well, you did a damn good job of saving Rico's, man.
Saul hissed as the rainbow recoiled.
Saul, I'm sorry, You wouldn't understand.
Saul said, and the bare-bottomed hippie sat atop a rock and placed his head in his hands.
That's an interesting mental image.
That is a very interesting mental image.
It would be different if I knew you were Rico, but you're not. You're just Rainbow Biker.
Saul sighed. Kurt grew defiant, and his rainbow stripped,
actually.
Rainbow stripped swelled. What? Rainbow strip swelled in response makes more sense than rainbow, whatever. In response to Saul's sudden petulance.
Just some biker rainbow?
Kurt growled.
You know, I didn't ask to be a rainbow, Saul. On January 8th, when I was turned into one, you can bet I was pretty fucking jaded.
The rainbow started in its deep and booming voice.
And yeah, I spent months using whiskey and 90s grunge music to numb myself to the reality. But you know what? I got myself up and I found something I love doing.
Kurt continued.
So forgive me if you're too fucking good for a rainbow biker.
The rainbow's striped arms flailed.
But it's all I can do from showering this whole damn world in rainbow tears. But I guess you couldn't understand that.
The rainbow finally finished and turned from the frustrated hippie. But Saul was now standing with his hands over his bearded mouth and letting his peace pounder dangle in the mountain gusts.
Did you say January 8th?
Saul whispered as he looked up at the rainbow, teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Kurt responded frankly.
My friend Rico died here on January 8th.
Saul started.
He fell to the basin, and when I found them, there was a rainstorm, and oh man.
Saul was beside himself as Kurt looked down and noticed the hippie's flesh peace pipe bobbing hard in the air.
You are Rico.
What? Okay, fine. I mean, you can.
Yeah, no,
I mean, if that's how you're turned on, I mean, you know, whatever.
The hippie's fleshy peace pipe.
Yeah,
it's
sure,
fine.
sure,
it's fine.
Yeah. Saul said at the peak of his revelation as a single hippie tear drizzled down his dirty cheek. There's a lot of single hippie tears going on here.
Yeah.
Like he's in his apartment, single hippie tear, his friend dies, single hippie tear, his friend is dying, single hippie tear.
It makes me think of that commercial with the Native American.
You know he wasn't a real Native American?
Yeah, I know.
He was actually just some dude from Jersey that they hired to do it, and he kind of felt bad afterwards.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are.
Oh yeah, totally. Drizzled down his dirty cheek. Kurt sighed, and the rainbow lowered its airy arm around the mournful hippie.
One arm is hairy, and one arm is airy. Whoa.
The horny rainbow couldn't help himself from sliding that arm back downward and making a move for the hippie's dangling doo-whopper. faster than a crowd of flower children moving toward a music fest.
Doo-wopper.
Doo-wopper. I've never ever heard that for a penis.
Good on you, Max Wood.
Yeah, never heard that for a penis. Saul let a groan slip from his warm and parted hairy hairy lippy lips as he felt the airy warm fingers gripping around his hardened shaft, reminding him of his lost friend's careful and soft touch. Rico had always caressed his skin with such attention, combing through the hair of his loins like a Japanese Zen gardener laboriously climbing toward enlightenment. And here...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and here now atop Indian's claw, Saul felt as though Rico and he could climb toward the pleasure mountain of peace, love and sunshine one last time. You gotta realize, I'm a boat, so I'm not really affected by a lot of things.
Yeah, but I realize that he's creating a nice scene. He knows how to use adjectives and whatnot. He doesn't know.
It's a very good image. It's been painted into your mind.
Yeah. I mean, he's using these metaphors that are silly, but they really kind of work for me.
Indeed. Do they work for you in a sexual way?
I am hard as diamonds.
Sweet. Kurt with approval, as his rainbow fingers begin to jerk the soft, somewhat dirty skin of the hippie's funky flopper.
Funky flopper.
That one's not as good as doo-wop.
Do you like that song?
Was he fucking Batman now?
Well, has a deep voice and he's breathing, so he's like...
He doesn't breathe, he's a rainbow. Kurt, oh, well, fuck, screw it. I'm bad at this.
You like that song?
Kurt breathed with warm gusts of air that combed through the relieved hippie's brown hair.
Yeah, man.
Saul whispered as he felt the warmth between his lanky legs growing into a climactic crest as he pulled Kurt's hand away.
I can't do it. Not until you admit that you're Rico, man.
Saul said as his green eyes reflected the sparkly light of the biker rainbow.
It's me, Saul.
The rainbow breathed, feigning an attempt to convince the hippie of his dead lover's spirit, and Saul looked at the rainbow. He felt as though he could almost see his Hispanic hippie friend sparkling in the colorful stripes.
Take me, Rico.
Saul whispered.
I'm your bong, Rico. Pass me.
That's terrible.
I'm your bong,
That's
Rico.
A terrible one.
Pass me.
Oh, jeez.
Pass me, Ezra.
He just hands him off like the edge of the cliff. Like, is there anybody there? Is this a threesome? The hippie said in his newfound fit of intimate approval, and the striped meteorological phenomenon came to life and lowered his colorful lips into the hippie's lover's pleasure pipe.
His
His
doo-wopper.
Yeah. Saul grasped at the rocks and stones at his fingers, and the rainbow swallowed his length. He felt himself surrounded by the warm and humid suction.
You know, saying swallowing his length is really not very sexy unless you're into, like, gory shit.
But it's that's a really common thing to say when referring to blowjobs in porn erotica. Yeah,
I'm sure.
You see that a lot.
I
don't know why.
Saul grasped at the rocks and stones at his fingers as the rainbow swallowed his length. Wait, we already said swallowed his length. Kurt's mouth serviced the hippie wand.
I like that hippie wand.
Hippie wand. As Saul's eyes rolled back and he braced for his release.
Groovy.
The hippie cried out as he fumbled for the bong and quickly drew in a major hit as the water bubbled at the base of his own pipe of pleasure. The hippie's legs jerked as he finally released and exploded his psychedelic sauce deep into the colorful striped formation. I'm kind of happy that I'm not doing this in Tyler's apartment anymore, where his roommate would just wander out and make food while we're doing this, and then wander back in.
You mean his extremely gay roommate?
Only one of them was gay.
Oh, I thought he had two gay roommates.
The hippie's legs jerked and psychedelic sauce. Kurt happily slurped the stoner's straw until he felt the throbbing weaken.
The joke's that one of them's still in the closet.
No.
My turn!
The rainbow said as it grabbed the hippie's ass in a sudden turn of aggression and flips all over, until the ragged hippie was bent over the rocky stoop he'd been sitting atop.
Oh man, this is so crunchy.
Saul giggled.
I don't think I would giggle at that. That sounds like it would hurt.
This is so crunchy.
That sounds like it would hurt a lot, actually.
He giggled as he grabbed the bong in his lighter, quickly taking yet another hit as he slumped over the rock.
How is he managing that while... whatever.
He is face down over a rock, and he's lighting a bong.
Okay.
Kurt rose, and suddenly the giant, colorful rainbow rammer flopped down with a puff against the cliff top as the dust and small stones were brushed away from its force.
Oh, man.
Saul said, looking back and wondering if he'd made a mistake, but the hippie could only giggle at the absurd sight that was closing in on his hairy hippie hump hole.
They don't have any lube.
No.
They've done no prep for this.
And lube is important, as we talk about many times.
Lube is really important.
We can talk about that all night, Ezra.
There's going to be shit everywhere. But not in the story, I mean, realistically.
I'll read the next line.
Oh, well, shit, yeah.
The rainbow growled as it grasped... Well, I mean, it's a cloudy dick?
I guess, I don't know.
So it's probably going to be pretty soft, honestly.
Sure.
The rainbow growled as it grabbed its striped cloud cock and slapped it against the hippie's ass. Saul had no idea if the rainbow-colored chowder thrower could even go inside him, given that it was only particles of moisture. But as Kurt pressed against the hippie's beckoning bum, the toking climber felt the pressure invading his swampy flower power freeway of fun.
That was an amazing sentence. I just want to go back and read that again.
Read it, Ezra.
Saul had no idea if the rainbow-colored chowder thrower could even go inside him, given that it was only particles of moisture. But Kurt pressed it against the hippie's beckoning bum. The token climber felt the pressure invading his swampy flower power freeway of fun.
Oh, dude.
I like that a lot.
Oh, dude.
The hippie ejected as Kurt's rainbow dong pressed inside, and he felt himself opening around the glorious, colorful cloud cock.
Oh, man. It might have taken a while to get to this point, but the wait was worth it.
My God, the alliteration is just amazing.
You are a beautiful writer. If you need a spell checker or a proofreader, call me.
Yeah. Jesus, this is amazing.
This is so trippy, man.
Oh, yeah, Saul exclaimed as Kurt was silent, only growling and groaning as he felt the hippie's ass around him and tickling every inch of his rainbow rod.
Fuck yeah.
The rainbow said as it all out rammed the hippie's bum harder than the screams at anti-war protests. Sure. Kurt knew he wouldn't be able to last long, given he'd never had sex as a rainbow, and Saul clearly had elicited something novel and overly arousing inside him. The rainbow come to life, grunted with each thrust inside the hippie. I almost want to call him Paul. Saul's dirty face scrunched as he braced for each ram of the enormous and warm candy-striped rain rod.
I can't hold off much longer.
Kurt breathed as he felt the oncoming bliss. Rocketing from the base of his colored stripes and up several hundred feet until he felt the warmth rocking into his wet weather wiener.
His wet weather wiener.
Whoa.
Fuck, man.
Kurt groaned out and Saul felt an incredible gush of colorful rainbow soup.
Okay.
Filling his hippie ass.
Sorry. Soup?
Soup?
I was with you until then.
I mean, I've heard cum called soup.
I guess if it's 7 different colors, then it would be soup.
I mean, it's illogical. I mean, it's your soup drinker. It's where you drink soup. Forcefully until he was rocketed from the stoop and blasted across the cliff top.
Kid's afraid to leave the stoop. Sorry.
If we're making references, why not? Landing along with a large splash of bright ozone ooze.
Wow. Wow.
Saul exhaled deeply as he finally rose up and tried to wipe himself with the slick storm slime.
Oh man, I'm so baked.
Saul said before slipping into a fit of laughter as Kurt exhaled deeply, pulling his rainbow dong off the cliff top.
I really needed that, man.
The rainbow says as he pulls a cigarette from somewhere out of Saul's sight and lifts it to his lips before also revealing a lighter. As the rainbow puffs on a cigarette, Saul couldn't help but feel as though he's felt Rico's love touch one final time, and he pulls his shorts back on with a smile.
Saul doesn't know yet if he'll ever return to the cliff, considering that it's now inhabited by horny rainbow bikers. But he knows that he'll always remember the closure he'd gained there atop Indian's Claw on that fateful day.
What now? How the heck am I gonna get down, man?
Saul said as he wringed his beard of the last drops of rainbow cum.
Because that's how cum works.
Yeah, drops.
Yeah.
It's like water.
I guess if it's rainbow cum.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably not as sticky as it is just wet.
I'm not gonna... Anyway, I'm not gonna make the reference. Kurt said nothing, instead disappearing suddenly and leaving Saul with a deep fear that he'd be stuck on the cliff. Literally.
Yeah.
But much to his delight, he heard a motorcycle revving before suddenly seeing his rainbow lover, riding it through the basin and up to the cliff.
Need a lift?
Kurt asked as he pulled out a pair of sunglasses and slid them on.
Yeah, I think I do.
Saul laughed as the rainbow tossed him a helmet and he boarded the magical motorcycle. Saul eventually made his way home, and just in time as he'd run completely out of weed. The tired hippie slumped into his ragged love seat and devoured an entire bowl of potato chips and ice cream while he watched a late-night talk show. He knew that nothing could ever be the same. And it was a good thing. He decided that he'd be friendlier to Minerva and more tolerant of Sandalwood. He felt as if he were Ebenezer Scrooge if Scrooge had been pounded by a magical rainbow come to life.
Rico. Man.
Saul whispered with a smile before he took a massive hit and coughed his lungs out. All was right.
Boom! High five!
Bam!
Yeah! Hope they all picked that up.
Oh yeah, I think it probably spiked. So that was pounded by the biker rainbow come to life. What do you think, Ezra?
That was pretty fucking awesome.
Actually, I really like that
Yeah,
story.
there was a lot of like good use of alliteration and just like they painted really vivid pictures, and it wasn't just overly raunchy just to be raunchy.
I don't personally read a lot of male erotic fantasy pornography.
I almost never read it.
Yeah, almost never. But I liked it. I felt this was a nice departure from fanfics because there's not too much different between this and fanfic, except I guess the characters are original.
Yeah, the characters are all OC, and that's definitely, it is refreshing.
Mm-hmm. I would rate this pretty highly if there were some kind of rating scale that I usually put things on.
I mean, if you had to do something and say something with a definitive nature that allowed you to make a judgment based on other things, how would you rate it?
Well, if I was on a pointless out of 10 system, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10.
I think I would give it maybe a 7.
7? Alright.
Yeah.
I mean, the spell check thing.
There was definitely some issues there with spelling, but I mean, I kind of expected there not to be since this was something that you paid money for and was released on Amazon.
Yes. I mean, if I'm paying for it, I expect it to go through some kind of QA process.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're being very serious about this. There was some hilarious alliteration, some great metaphors, some hot hippie rainbow action.
I think if you didn't like this, you're a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the way I'm going to put that on my scale of 1 to 10.
I think this was a perfect celebration of Pride Month.
Yeah.
That was like months ago.
We're only late.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just like your mother. I don't have a joke for that.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, Ezra.
Oh, it was great.
I know you had to travel far.
I did. Far.
Yeah.
Away.
Yes. And, yeah, so that's going to do it for Fan Diction. I hope we said at the beginning that this is Fan Diction.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Ooh, oops.
I have an intro.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, okay. Normally we would tell you about other good fan fictions that you can read, but instead we're just going to say go and read some of Max Wood.
Yeah, go and read some of his stuff, because it's pretty good. You can find him on Amazon.
Amazon.com. Not the jungle.
I mean, if you want to go to the Amazon and search for books, that also would be kind of cool.
There's also a guy named Chuck Tingle, I guess, that does similar stuff. And then I'm about to be releasing my own erotic novels, Pounded by the Penicorn Come from Mars.
I would read that. But
See,
just like gather inspiration from around the room.
That's even a good title, Pounded by the Penicorn Come from Mars.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, where else would penicorns come from?
Well, good. Thank you for coming and being with us and listening to us be weird.
And thank you, Jazz, for having me on the show.
Yep. And I'll talk to you later. Fan Diction.